Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. This is DW, the Roadrunner podcast straight out of Vegas. And I'm glad to talk to you today because I have some issues to bring up. Number one, Greenland is a beautiful thing. Trump is a great negotiator. Trump gets the job done, and he takes the bull by the horns and takes care of business. That's what I love about Trump. He's got more energy than you can imagine, and everybody knows that. I don't sleep like Trump because I get way more sleep than he does, and I think that's why I remain healthy at my age, because I have a very good diet and then I sleep well. So I try to rest that brain, because resting your brain is a good thing. But dementia is caused by lack of blood flowing to your brain. That's what causes dementia. This is what causes your brain cells to diminish. Because the blood is not flowing properly to the brain like it used to when you were younger. So when you get older, the blood flow slows down to your brain. So this is why, being that I'm the specialist that I am, and I will die the specialist of sex capsules in the entire planet, because my knowledge is greater than anybody's knowledge in the entire planet regarding sildenafil and tadalafil taken in a pill form or in a time-release capsule. So Viagra and Cialis needs to get off their ass and incorporate doing more business, putting sex capsules as their availability as being available to sell their recipe, and they're going to have to improve the recipe. They're going to have to make it a little stronger, especially the sildenafil. Can't put too much tadalafil in an animal bone capsule, a time-released animal bone capsule. So that means the animal bone capsule comes straight from God, because God is nature. And this is testosterone in natural form. This is why humans and mankind need to take natural testosterone. And I'm not talking about just men. I made a scientific breakthrough and wrote it in my book that if a woman has has high blood pressure, taking an animal bone capsule is extremely beneficial if she is pregnant. Pregnant woman, I strongly recommend taking a natural testosterone animal bone sex capsule. It's the most heart-friendly medicine in the world, by far. The government wants to sit on their ass and not educate the American public and just sweep sex capsules underneath the shelf. That's exactly what's being done, and that's what's been done in the past. But there was a disease called COVID, which we all remember, that came out. And when the grocery stores couldn't sell any more toilet paper because they were all out, we rushed to buy all the toilet paper because the public panicked. So there was no toilet paper available in stores. You remember that back in 2018, 2019? And that's exactly what happened. The public panicked. And that's when everybody was wearing masks and thought that if they took the vaccine shot, because they were misled by the government and by the politicians in Washington, D.C., that were being paid off by Big Pharma and receiving their donations, telling the public that they should take and recommending they should take the vaccine. Well, they didn't know enough about the vaccine to recommend that. It wasn't even FDA approved. So I didn't fall for the scam. I've fallen for scams in my lifetime since then, because I fell for the scam with both attorneys that robbed me out of a $150,000 retainer. So we have to learn from our experiences. And life is a learning process. So I'm not done learning. But as far as sex capsules go, I've learned and I have more knowledge about sex capsules than anybody in the entire planet. Not only do I have the knowledge, but I have the ability to put it on paper, and I have the ability to speak about it. So there's people that in India that have knowledge about sex capsules, such as Abdullah, which is my best friend in life, other than my wife. My best human friend in life, hands down. And Abdullah taught me a lot about sex capsules, about fillers. I never knew anything about fillers when I was having the capsules manufactured in China, which my suppliers did. They were the manufacturers, and I was thriving off their recipe. In fact, I paid them for the recipe. I gave them a donation for the recipe after they were busted by their own government in China. And Henry was locked up put in detention for like a year and a half. Amy was like able to stay out of detention and take care of their 2 children. All I can say is they were mistreated by their government. They were in the detox business. They produced detox tea, which is the healthiest thing you can put in your body, as far as like taking any form of tea that cleans your body out, cleans your stomach out. They sold the best detox tea in the world, and they also sold wholesale the best collagen in the world. The best collagen, the only collagen that was produced with blueberry extract. The only one that had blueberry extract. Collagen only has about 4 ingredients in it. It's not a complicated recipe, but the fact that it comes straight from nature, that's the beauty of it. Collagen is very healthy for women to take. And women that like to have strong nails and anything in their body, their skin is better off. Everything in their body is beautified by drinking collagen in liquid form. That's what Amy and Henry, the producers of their collagen, recommended. But people from overseas, women from overseas, they'll drink the collagen with water, and it has a bad taste to it. So I would always try to get people to take the collagen with cranberry juice. Not orange juice, it's too heavy in base, but with cranberry juice was a great way to drink collagen because it extinguished the bad taste. But I never could sell collagen. I tried to sell collagen, and I tried to get it on the market in the U.S. In fact, I had to basically just throw away all the packages that I had shipped over, and I had to throw away the detox tea that I had shipped over also. It was just unsellable. The American public doesn't want anything to do with detox tea. We're a fast-paced society. The only reason detox is created because people like to detoxify themselves very quickly before they have to take a drug test. And that's why detox cells are very big in smoke shops, because they specialize in selling detox that you can drink real quickly, and then you take the drug test and pass the drug test. So it's all for the scam of passing the drug test. It's not really for your health. Detox tea in China is created for your health. It's not made to help pass a drug test. But I could not sell this. I thought that I could. I thought that I could create a market for it. My market was always health-oriented. That's what I always tried to accomplish when I sold sex capsules. So when I added the detox tea and the collagen and was unsuccessful with it, hey, I took a chance. And I took a chance in the sex capsule business. I've been a gambler my entire life since the age of 19. I was just gambling in a different way when I was in the sex capsule business, and I opened up my business. I started out as an LLC and then became a corporation as my business grew and grew. And I was very much into what I sold. One of the reasons why I was so motivated about what I sold is because I had the best female pill in the entire planet, in the world. It was nicknamed the G pill in Europe and sold as G female in the UK. In the entire continent of the UK, Ireland, Scotland, and England, and it was a number one seller, and the public knew how healthy it really was. And you can't prove it, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. I'm going to tell you exactly what they said in the UK and exactly what they've said in Europe. That eliminates the chance of inheriting breast cancer and tumors 9/10. F, it eliminates inheriting breast cancer and tumors 5/10. I'm all for it. 4/10, I'm all for it. 3/10, I'm all for it. 2/10, I'm all for it. 1/10, I'm all for it. Now, I never had the knowledge about the G pill when my mother and sister both died from breast cancer. But when I found out about the G pill and I hooked up with it and had it packaged first as Naovi, which was a terrible marketing name, I changed the name to Kinky Pink, and that was a much better marketing name, and my sales boosted, but not that much. Like they doubled in sales, but not much more than that, because sex pills have not been promoted properly. The great promoters of sildenafil and tadalafil are the companies Viagra and Cialis. They're like the big breweries, like in the past, like Coors, was a big brewery and that fed off all the advertising that was created by Miller High Life, promoting Miller Lite, which was their largest selling beer, biggest selling beer was Miller Lite, and Budweiser. They were at war together, and Miller promoted the Miller Lite, and then Budweiser came out with the Bud Light. And they were very successful, both companies, and they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars in advertising, building the beer market like incredibly. When the beer was advertised on TV, reminding the public how refreshing it was to drink beer, and that it was a national pastime, especially when people like to watch sports. That was their advertising. That's the market they targeted, and that's what they went after. And they built the beer industry in a huge fashion. And this is when all the small breweries snuck into the market in America, when all the small breweries were created. And Coors fed off it beautifully because they didn't advertise like they let Budweiser and Miller Lite, or the Miller Brewing Company, fight each other to gain and become the top seller in the market. And that's what they were. They were at war together. And they became allies to every other beer brewery in the market in the future, which were born from all the advertising. This is the same thing this happened in the sex capsule industry. Sex capsules have flocked off of Viagra and Cialis promoting their products in the past, and they spent a lot of money in the past on advertising, a ton of money. And they actually refused to advertise a female pill and promote a female pill because they knew what would happen. It would become extremely popular in the outward market where sex capsules are sold over the shelves throughout all the retail outlets and in America. They didn't want to spend money on advertising for the female pill, but they should have. They should spend it now, and they should promote the female pill, and they should come out with a blister pack of a natural testosterone animal bone capsule with a stronger recipe than they have in their blue pill the recipe which they stole from India. I shouldn't say stole it. They took it. They weren't necessarily breaking the law. They just took the recipe from India for the 100 milligram Viagra pill. That's the recipe in Viagra, 100 milligrams of sildenafil. And the only ingredient in that pill, in that blue pill, Viagra pill, that's designed the way they want to design it. It's not designed the same. It has the same design of a blue pill in India. They've created their own design of the Viagra pill, and that's exactly what it has: 100 milligrams of sildenafil, and the only other ingredient in that pill are the fillers, which give the pill its design. Any pill has to have fillers for it to have its design. And that's what's mixed with the recipe. Now, fillers are useless ingredients, but they're a necessity to create any pill. They're necessary. You can't go without fillers to create any pill that's sold on the market, whether it be a Bayer aspirin or any other pill that's sold in prescription form or over the shelves. It's not required by prescription. So there you go with that. And that's basically what Viagra and Cialis needs to do, is they need to get off this prescription bullshit, because it shouldn't be necessary to require sildenafil and tadalafil to be taken by prescription, because they sell some of the most heart-friendly medicine in the world, Viagra and Cialis, which is good for the blood flow, which is good for the libido area, which is good and causes blood to flow through the libido area, which helps eliminate disease. Good blood flow helps to eliminate any form of disease. That's why sex capsules became so popular after COVID came out. They went up another 50% in sales. And this is another thing that pissed Viagra and Cialis off, because they couldn't control that, because the demand of the public went up for sex capsules, because the public gets smarter and smarter as time goes on. They don't have to be told by anybody once they put a sex capsule in their body. A sex capsule or a Viagra pill is an absolute dud if you throw it in the garbage can. But if you put it in your body's going to react. And people know how well Viagra works because it gives you almost like an instant hard libido. It makes your libido hard almost automatically. And it's like an 8-hour effect. But what happens is when people have sex and they take a Viagra pill, is they'll want to have sex again. So they pop in another Viagra pill, and they're not supposed to take 100 milligrams of sildenafil in pill form more than once every 3 days. That's why the 50 milligram blue pill is more popular in India than the 100 milligram blue pill, which is the identical recipe in Viagra. But it's not as popular as the 50 milligram blue pill in India because the public can take the 50 milligram blue pill on a daily basis, and it doesn't harm their eyesight in the future. It's a very slow process at harming your eyesight anyway, but it does harm your eyesight if you take a Viagra pill more than once every 3 days. And the doctor can prescribe all they want to the man that's taking the Viagra pill, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to have an instant repulse to take another Viagra pill after he has sex with this woman, because the man has to worry about keeping that libido hard. A woman is automatically ready again if they're young, especially, and they want to have sex a second time during that evening or during that the daytime hours, whenever the people do have sex together. And thank God for the moon, because that's what helps our sex life even become better, is the moon, which shows its light, dark light upon Earth. But it glows in the sky, and the moon is so beautiful to watch, especially when I'm driving. It kind of guides me along my path and gives me that energy, that natural energy that I need, where I don't have to drink a cup of coffee. I get that natural energy from God, and that's much better anyway, because all that happens when you drink coffee is you have to drink another cup after another cup after another cup. Then you're pulling off the freeway or off the highway while you're driving. You have to release the coffee out of your body and urinate. So it's not a necessity to me to drink coffee, only if I've gone without sleep and I've been in an all-night poker session and I'm playing poker and I'm trying to stay up. Maybe I'm forced to drink the cheap coffee in the casino, but they've eliminated that opportunity for me to drink coffee in the MGM after a late-night poker session and after paying time for many hours of playing and for a long session. They no longer get my money. They don't want my money. They don't want me in their room. When I get out of line in a poker room, they suffer from David Weber syndrome. That's what they suffer from. When I get out of line or have a problem, they blow it completely out of proportion instead of just kicking me out for the night. First book out listed is Beehive Golden Pond in East Windover, Utah. Windover's actually a border town, so it's in 2 states. This small city of 6,000 people, about 90% Spanish people. What a beautiful town this is. That's Beehive Golden Pond on 479 Windover Boulevard in Windover, Utah. Buy a book there and get the free hat along with any book purchase. To purchase my book, go to www.theroadrunnerpodcast.com, and I'll throw in that free hat with any book purchase. My title, The Roadrunner in the Yellow Zone, is the greatest title ever created. Without the sun and the moon feeding off each other, there is no life on Earth. Naturally, gamblers can get emotional. If you have to kick them out for the night, that's one thing, but kicking them out for life, that's a different thing. That's another thing called David Weber syndrome that the poker rooms in Vegas suffer from. They can't get over it because, just like I said, outspoken people are always attacked. No doubt about it. That's part of the responsibility of being outspoken. Well, I'm enjoying my outspokenness now with my podcast and relaying information and stories and everything such as that to you. And I enjoy that. So I enjoy my outspokenness. So they can kiss my ass. I'm not changing. I'm 70 years old. I'm not. My character is not going downward. It's going upward. I'm on my way up. I'm growing where I was planted. I've been planted in the state of Nevada. I can't even leave the state of Nevada. And I love this state. It's a freedom state. And I want to die in Nevada. If I plan on dying anywhere, let it be in Nevada or maybe California. I mean, I love California. California is not too far away from Nevada, so I'm able to play poker and walk into any casino in America other than certain casinos in Las Vegas or Talking Stick in Phoenix, Arizona, which is another phony card room that I was chased out of. But that's all good because I've got the rest of America, and I've got every casino and every poker room that I can walk into in the California, and the poker action is much better in California anyway. Poker action in California is the best in the world and always will be. Again, because the rake doesn't override your ability to make money because the rake is so high in Europe and Macau, China. I played in Macau. I never played in Europe. I heard about Europe. I just stayed away from it. But I played in Macau because Macau is a ferry ride away from Shenzhen and or Hong Kong, where I was staying. Shenzhen is next to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is close to Macau. Macau is like where they have the Le Mans auto race, the annual race. You've heard about Le Mans, so that's where Macau is. Macau is like a boring place compared to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is definitely the most exciting casino capital in the world. And I rate Reno number 2. I love Reno. I love how the casinos are all spread around Reno. And I love to play poker at the Peppermill. The Peppermill has a great card room. Not to mention it's a great casino. It's a very enjoyable casino to be in because they show you pictures from all over the world. He has a professional photographer that he flies around in his private plane, his pilot fly these photographers. I think he has more than one photographer now. His pilots fly the photographers all over the world to take these pictures. And he shows these pictures, 20, 30-second segments on his large screens throughout the casinos, throughout the Peppermill casinos. And what I became entranced with was the Peppermill Casino owns 3 casinos in Wendover, in northern Nevada, the most beautiful town in America as far as I'm concerned. It's in God's country, and I love Wendover, Nevada. Half of the town is in Utah, although 3/4 of the population is in Nevada. Nobody wants to live on the Utah side because you can't gamble. It closes down early at night. There's no businesses that stay open past 10 o'clock at night or even that late. And most of the businesses close down at 6. So the Utah side of Wendover closes down at 6. The Nevada side of Wendover stays open 24/7. And that's where everybody lives. That's where everybody congregates. That's where everybody comes out from the Intermountain area in Utah, including Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. That's a large population of people spread out that come into Wendover, and they love coming out there on weekends. So Wendover booms on weekends and falls asleep on weekdays. And actually, my favorite time to be in Wendover is 7 days a week. It doesn't matter what day. I love it because I'm in God's country. But the Peppermill owns 3 casinos in Wendover. It owns the Peppermill, the Rainbow, and Montego Bay. Then 2 other casinos are owned by the Nugget, which used to be called the State Line, right on the border of Utah and Nevada. And Montego Bay is across the street from it, directly across the street from the old State Line that's now called the Nugget Casino. And then on the end of the Wendover Boulevard is the Red Garter. And heck, they weren't even open like around Christmas, around that time. They just closed up the Red Garter. But all 3 casinos, Montego Bay, of course the Nugget, Montego Bay, the Rainbow, and the Peppermill, they all remained open. And they do a booming business around New Year's also. But right after Christmas, I left and came down to Vegas for New Year's. But I didn't go into the Strip or anywhere else in Vegas. I just stayed home. Because I don't like being in large crowds of people. I don't trust being in large crowds of people. I've been caught in a large congregation between the Bellagio and Caesar's Palace and the old Bally's Casino and the whatever that casino was across the street from it. It's no longer the same name, but I was sitting there in the center, in the intersection, and in a big crowd, and I remember the crowd swaying, and my legs and my body was going from right to left. They were going over to the right side, from the left side to the right side, or from the right side to the left side. But my feet were still on the ground, and thank God my feet remained on the ground. But say if the crowd had lost it and their footing had left the ground and they fell over upon each other, many people would have been trampled to death or hurt very badly. But that didn't happen. But that's the last time I ever put myself in a crowd of people that was so thick and so high-pressured. I've never, ever put myself in that situation again because I'll never forget that moment when everybody was celebrating New Year's Eve. People climbing up on the flagpoles and the light, the big light poles where the lights change, but they're climbing up on top. They're up there like 20 feet, 30 feet in the air. And people just go nuts around New Year's. So to me, New Year's is just another day. I mean, it's just, there's 365 days in a year. The celebration is, some people go eccentric over it, but I celebrate the new year because I look forward to the entire year that's coming around. And I remain fearless. So that's what I look forward to is this year. The government wants you to be nervous, and especially if they're going to take you to court. And all I can say is like, I have to fight for what I believe in. I fought for what I believed in my entire lifetime as a gambler. I traveled as a gambler, and I believed in what I was doing. But when I got in the sex capsule business, then I became a true believer. And my number one intention after I entered the sex capsule business and got a hold of the G pill was to make that the most popular female pill in America and throughout the world. Of course, I think big, and I'm a dreamer, but maybe that comes with being left-handed or being a Sagittarius. I don't know. But I'm a creative thinker, and who else could have thought up the title, The Roadrunner in the Yellow Zone? Nobody. Nobody could have thought that title up. I thought the title up because I know the meaning of the title. But 30 years ago, when I knew the name of the title for my future book, which I didn't know what to write, the other retail outlet to buy a book is Chevron, gas, liquor, and convenience store on 1301 East Altman Street. There's 2 Chevron stations. Make sure you get the right one. That's Chevron Liquor, Gas, and Convenience Store on 1301 East Altman Street in Ely, Nevada. And you'll get the free hat whenever you purchase my book. To purchase my book, go to www.theroadrunnerpodcast.com, and I'll throw in that free hat with any book purchase. My title, The Roadrunner in the Yellow Zone, is the greatest title ever created. Without the sun and the moon feeding off each other, there is no life on Earth. There is no water. There's no oceans. There's no rain. There's no snow. All there is smoldering fires throughout the surface of the world, which has no water. So there is no life, and there is no oxygen to breathe. So there absolutely is no life. Insects can't even survive. They could not even survive during this fire blizzard upon the Earth's surface, which is extinguished by the moon, which keeps it from happening, this process from happening in the future, because the moon blocks the sun at nighttime. And imagine this, the moon is so much smaller than the sun, and even smaller than the Earth. But imagine the power the moon has and why God put it so close to Earth is because he didn't want it to block the sun completely, because if it blocked the sun completely, we have no life either. It's just darkness. Nothing can grow. We grow no crops. We can't live off the land. We can't enjoy our lives in the daytime. We can't enjoy looking at the blue sky or the rain or whatever it may be. I love the snow, so I'll take the snow over the rain, because the snow has 10 times greater benefit to the Earth's surface, to the soil on the Earth, to plants or trees growing upon the Earth's surface throughout this beautiful, beautiful land that we were given by God. This is like This is beauty in disguise. This is why snow is so essential to the life process and to the fertilization of soil, because it has 10 times greater effect, 10 times greater effect and positive effect. I should say 10 times greater positive effect to the soil throughout Earth, throughout our lands that we enjoy. It helps add to our beauty of life. It helps add to the beauty of Earth. Snow is essential. Snow is a great attribute from God, along with rain. But without our oceans, can you imagine how boring life would be if I couldn't go to California and look at the ocean, or enjoy walking in the waves, or even swimming or body surfing in the waves like I did when I was a kid, or surfers being able to surf to this day, or me being able to snow ski and pay the high lift tickets. So what? Snow skiing is so beautiful and such a kind sport given to us from God that I'll pay the lift prices. No big deal. I could blow way more money than that playing in a bad poker session, or going out to a nice restaurant and eating fine food, or going to see a live show in Las Vegas. It's just tremendous. I love the snow. I can't think of anything that I love more than snow on Earth. It adds beauty to the mountains when you're driving by and you're driving up Utah and driving through mountainous states such as Utah, and you see the snow-capped mountains, and it's just so beautiful. And the snow actually stays year-round at very high elevated mountaintops. It remains all year long, which is a beautiful thing. It takes longer for snow to melt off the top of the mountains in Utah than probably anywhere in America. And there's nothing like the Rocky Mountains. I love the Rocky Mountains. The Wasatch Front, it's called. But it gets a tremendous amount of snow. And it's called the lake effect. That's why the clouds stay in the mountains for so long along the Wasatch Front, because it's called the lake effect. The Great Salt Lake, and the salt in the lake forces the clouds to stay in the mountains, and they can't leave. They can't leave the mountain area, and that's why Utah receives tremendous snowfall along the Wasatch Front. Which the Wasatch Front, the mountain range, flows all the way from southern Utah all the way up to northern Utah, all the way up to Idaho. Never stops. The mountain range, and it's beautiful. That's why I call Utah the most beautiful state in America, especially when you get back inside the mountains and you get off the beaten path of the highways, and you really see how beautiful Utah really is. And the southern Utah is absolutely fantastic. All the national parks in southern Utah, Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon. And you even go over from Hurricane and drive over to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, to Flagstaff, Arizona, which is another beautiful spot to go vacation and see, and all the Indian ruins. You've got a lot of sights to see around Flagstaff. And there's a lot of nostalgia there, a lot of history. So I recommend very strongly taking a trip to Flagstaff or to Utah, or on up to Idaho, on up through the Northwest. America is a beautiful country, and there's nothing better than the West. The West is by far the best, for more reasons than one. I've been on the East Coast. I've spent enough time on the East Coast, and I'm so glad that I was born on the West Coast, because this is where I want to live and die. The East Coast, I can visit and enjoy nostalgia of the East Coast, and I can enjoy the culture of how our forefathers created America, and go to see George Washington's home and Thomas Jefferson's home, and even go up to South Dakota and go see them carved in the rock. That's what I look forward to doing also. I look forward to traveling throughout America. I've been hinged up in Nevada for over a year now, and I look forward to traveling again. I especially look forward to my wife coming over here from Vietnam. I'm so lucky to have met her, and I wouldn't have met her if I hadn't written my book. So I'll read my book. It's a bestseller, whether you buy it or not. But if you do buy my book, you're going to enjoy it, trust me. But getting back to Viagra and Cialis, they need to sell and promote the G pill from Europe that was originally made. The recipe originally comes from Guangzhou, China. which has about 30 million people. Guangzhou, China is another large city. It's larger than Shenzhen. Shenzhen has roughly about 20 million people, 22 million people. Guangzhou has about 30 to 35 million people. Cities are huge in China, huge, larger than cities in America. Saigon, Vietnam, is only about 20 million people, 22 million people also. And then you've got the capital, Hanoi, Vietnam. That's the capital of Vietnam. I've never been to Hanoi, but I look forward to going there. In fact, my wife just took a trip there with her sister and sent me some pictures, and I I'm very forward to I just look at these pictures and I say to myself, I can't wait to go there. I look forward to it. All of Vietnam is beautiful, and the people are so friendly, and the food is so good. It's the best. But getting back to Viagra and Cialis, I've got to tell you, they need to promote the female pill. This is my biggest motivational weaponry in my heart and in my mind, was to become extremely successful in the sex capsule business and make my female pill extremely popular and well known throughout America. But I couldn't get enough female pills into America to cover all 50 states, or all 48 lower states, excluding Hawaii and Alaska. There's no way I can handle it. So I basically sold my sex capsules in 3 states: Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. And I'm proud of that. So, hey, if you want to take me to court, they're taking me to court. So be it. But I happen to be the most knowledgeable person about sex capsules and about Viagra and Cialis in the entire planet. So get ready. Buckle up. Because I'm a fighter. I believe in what I'm doing. I believed in what I did in the past when I was in the sex capsule business. And I took all my labels that I sold in the past, and I put label names on my hats that I give away with my book. Every time you buy a copy of my book, you get your choice of any one of my 6 hats, including the Kinky Pink for women. So there you go. But Viagra and Cialis, I love Viagra and Cialis. They're my allies. I always looked at them like they were my allies. I had no intention to ever sell the blue pill or have the blue pill sent over from India. No intention whatsoever. I didn't want to compete with them. I didn't want their market. I wanted my own market. But my market was created by them, by all their past television advertising, by advertising Viagra and Cialis. But people didn't really know what was in Viagra or Cialis. They didn't know that tadalafil is in Cialis and sildenafil is in Viagra. And they're the only ingredients inside either one of those pills, other than the fillers to give the pill its design. But the recipe was originally created over 100 years ago in India. It's very popular in India. They sell different forms of yellow pills in India. They sell a 20 milligram yellow pill. They sell a 40 milligram yellow pill. They sell a 60 milligram yellow pill and an 80 milligram yellow pill. Cialis sells a 40 milligram yellow pill. Viagra sells a 100 milligram blue pill. But they create a blue pill in India that's up to 200 milligrams. But they don't sell it in India because the environment is very hot. It's a very hot environment in India, so they only export the 200 milligram blue pill out of India. Just like my capsules were exported out of India by Abdullah. And I received a great education in India because I didn't have the education in China that I was going to receive in India. So I was very fortunate to go to India and find out and learn about sex capsules and about how useless fillers really were. And it's not necessary. It's completely unnecessary to put fillers inside a sex capsule. It's a pure pump fake, which is caused to pump fake the distributorships. Because now when they spend millions of dollars on their orders that are brought over by ship and prepackaged falsely with false ingredients on the back of the blister pack, this is a game that's all created back in Washington, D.C., because the stores can't sell anything listed on the back of the blister packs that says it has sildenafil or tadalafil, because sildenafil and tadalafil is required by prescription. And the female pill also has sildenafil and tadalafil. Not as many milligrams as a capsule, The female pill dissipates more quickly like a Viagra pill and lasts in the woman's system for like a day. And that's basically it. But this all boils down to the game that's created in Washington, D.C. and the distributorships, large distributorships in America that have these sex capsules shipped over in $1 million orders by ship. These orders never get seized. They never get seized by customs or the FDA because they're being paid off. Would you want to put up $1 million and have the order seized? Of course not. They know this order is going through and it's not going to get seized. They've already taken care of this. And they're prepackaged, as I say. All sex capsules overseas that are produced overseas are already packaged in blister pack form. They usually come in 30 blister packs per box. I kept it the old-fashioned way and had them packaged in 24 per box, 24 blister packs per box. But I'm out of that business. That's over with. When the feds raided my storage units in my houses, there was no secret about where they were stored. They were under my name. I was proud of what I did. I was licensed. I had an accounting firm that took care of all my accounting work. I paid my taxes every year. I acted as responsibly as I possibly could. I called my company Passion Plus Enterprises. That originally started out as Passion Plus as an LLC, and then I made it a corporation. So I did everything possible to become as legitimate as possible. I even tried to have my labels trademarked, but my lawyers beat me out of the money and made an excuse. He said, "Oh, this is an offense if you have this done." So he never completed my copyrights of my labels. Just robbed me out of $4,000 and said he spent like 5 hours or 6 hours on it and charged me like $500 per hour and then the paperwork and everything else. And basically stole $4,000 from me is what he did. The same lawyer, Matt Johnson, that stole the $150,000 retainer from me. So I've already turned him into district court along with Mike Samft. That's Mike Samft Law and Johnson & Gubler. Matt Johnson runs the company, Johnson & Gubler. And he has his whore attorney, Russ Gubler, underneath him, who robbed me out of $10,000 for my wife's visa also, which shouldn't cost any more than $4,000 tops. But he robbed me out of $10,000, and it hadn't even gone through the first stage. So now I have a new visa attorney for my wife, and I'm doing everything possible to get her over here. She's the love of my life. And I've got a dog that's the love of my life also, because my last pit bull that died was the love of my life. My four-legged female pit bull called Coco. I buried her in my backyard in Windover, so God bless Coco. And I'm an eccentric. I had her buried in a casket, had a funeral for her. I mean, so what? I'm not taking the money with me, no big deal. And Sky, she's just as lovable as can be. She's very affectionate, and I'm so happy that I was able to find her and discover her at the Huntington Beach Animal Shelter. So what a beautiful blue-nosed pit bull she is. And they both had the same color eyes, like greenish-brown eyes. Coco's eyes were the same color as Sky's eyes. They had the same ears, just like they wobble back and forth when you're walking them, and they're just beautiful. They're just beauty in disguise. God knew what he was doing. He or she, our Creator, God knew. Our Creator knew what to do when dogs were created. When dogs were created by nature, God knew. God knew that they would have the character that they have, and he gave them that character, and they are the most lovable pets alive. Sure, I've heard great things about cats and how lovable they are, but I've never had one. But I'm not knocking it. If anybody loves cats, so be it. But I'm a dog lover. And I'm an animal lover. Another retail outlet selling my book and free hat is Hoover Dam and Liquor in Boulder City, Nevada, just outside of Las Vegas and outside of Henderson, Nevada, just south of there on the way to Phoenix. So that's 1311 Boulder City Parkway is where they're located. Hoover Dam and Liquor. Go over there to the best little liquor store in the state of Nevada. Hoover Dam Liquor. To purchase my book, go to www.hoover,
theroadrunnerpodcast.com, and I'll throw in that free hat with any book purchase. My title, The Roadrunner in the Yellow Zone, is the greatest title ever created. Without the sun and the moon feeding off each other, there is no life on Earth.
But Viagra needs to get off their behind and create the female pill. Create the female pill, the G pill, that was originally made in Guangzhou, China, that was later made in India. And I don't know if other manufacturers have it made in India. I don't know about the world, but I know this, that when it was made in India, it was very, very good, very top quality. It was the best quality ever. And I would be glad for them to take over the recipe and produce their female pill exactly like the G pill was in Europe. That is no longer sold in the UK under G female. I think that's over with, but I would be more than glad for them to take over the recipe and make this recipe go nationwide and worldwide, because it will save so many women's lives and so many women from inheriting breast cancer or even tumors. But my mother and sister both inherited breast cancer, so it would save so many women from inheriting breast cancer that my mother and sister died from, including tumors that other people's mothers have died from. Any form of cancer that other people's mothers or fathers have died from. Disease is caused by lack of blood flow. By lack of blood flow. By lack of blood flow. That's how disease is caused. So, whether you take a natural testosterone animal bone capsule, whether you're a man or a woman, it's still going to go into your bloodstream, and it's not going to be a dud. Your body is going to react to that pill or to that capsule. And your body is going to inherit a healthier blood flow, the elimination of inheriting Alzheimer's disease, your brain cells diminishing, your glands, if you're a woman, and your breast tissue being replenished and not drying up and inheriting the deadly disease of breast cancer or tumors in your body, any other form of disease, including COVID, which came out. The American public learned about sex capsules and how they improved your blood flow, and the cells of sex capsules went way up. Now, if the Viagra and Cialis is intimidated by this, don't be. Just start producing your recipes and have them put in a natural testosterone animal bone capsule, and put your recipe closer to God, because humans, especially mankind, needs natural testosterone. What better way than to take a natural testosterone animal bone capsule that's a slow time release that lasts in your body for 3 to 4 days and allows that blood to flow freely for 3 to 4 days, and then you take another one 3 to 4 days later. And you don't have to worry about taking another one after you've had sex the first time, because you're automatically going to be able to have sex the second time or maybe even the third. Now, I'm 70 years old. If I have sex once, I want to go to sleep afterward. And I'm energetic enough to make my wife want to sleep afterward also. So there you go. I don't care about having sex 2 or 3 times in one night anymore. I'd rather wake up and get seconds. So all I can say is Viagra and Cialis, you're my ally. I have nothing against you. I've never had anything against you. I strictly sold natural testosterone animal bone capsules, and I sold the female pill, the G pill from Europe, and named it Kinky Pink. So I'll be glad for you to have these recipes, and I would be glad if you put one female pill, one G pill, name it whatever you want to name it. I don't care. You could even name it Kinky Pink. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'll be glad to let you use my name. No problem. You can you can put it in. You can put your animal bone capsule, and you can take any one of my 6 label names and use that also. I could care less, because I'm out of the sex pill business. I'm on to bigger and better things. They gave me the opportunity to buy in with them in the future, and they can have this law lifted out of prescription form to where you have to take sildenafil or tadalafil, and become my true ally, and let me have a piece of their business, or hire me as an executive in their business. I can guarantee I'm not interested as being an executive in any business. I'm my own executive, and I want to own my own company. I'm an entrepreneur, so the only way that could go is they'd have to be my partner, which I'd be glad to have happen. But we need to get this law lifted. That's the problem. See, the politicians being paid off by Big Pharma, they're never going to change this law. They're always going to sweep it underneath the rug, and the government is going to will continue to keep it underneath the rug and keep the information from the public, because the government already knows sex capsules don't hurt anybody. Otherwise, they would have shut the retail outlets down years ago from selling this product over the shelves. They don't go after it. They just remain hush-hush. But I don't think they really know how much healthier a sex capsule is than a pill, and how much better it is for your eyesight in the long run. Through the years that go by, and somebody who's taken Viagra for years and years and years, they're going to have to wear glasses more quickly, especially if they take that Viagra pill more than once every 3 days. That 100 milligram recipe that's sold by Viagra. Well, see how I'm shaking my head like that? That's what they do in India. They shake their head like that. When they're shaking their head no, they really mean yes. So I apologize for the head shake. I loved being in India. I spent 50 days over there, and I traveled all throughout India, and a lot of spots in India. My favorite spot was Pondicherry, where they play the music very loud, and it's the old style music, whatever you call it. It was a beautiful thing. But India originally created the recipes, and that's how it is. They created the blue pill, and that's what Viagra sells, is the old Indian recipe that was created in India, and they call it Viagra. So why not take the natural testosterone animal bone capsule that comes straight from God, that's a part of nature, and we live off of animals, okay? The wacky Democrats can kiss my ass, okay? I want to eat a steak once in a while, and that cow is not going to be alive in the first place unless the farmer or rancher is able to pay to raise that cow and feed it. And the only way they can pay to feed that cow or raise it, either to sell for meat or to sell for dairy products, they have to obtain profit. That's how it is. That's how America rolls. That's how the world rolls. That's exactly how the world rolls. And this is like we were not intended by God to be plant eaters. We're omnivores. We're partial plant eaters and eat meaters. That's what we are. We're omnivores, not carnivores. We're omnivores. And I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of fish. I eat very little beef. But I love to eat chicken. There's a lot of protein in chicken. I used to love to eat butterfly steaks from deer. And we used to eat butterfly steaks for breakfast with eggs. Instead of the steak and eggs, we had the deer steak and eggs. Called them butterfly steaks, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. So much protein in deer meat. And I lived on deer meat when I was a kid. I grew up on it, so flavorful, so good. God intended man to live and enjoy animals, and killing animals is a part of life. It's a part of nature. So the natural testosterone animal bone capsules, however they're originated, if they raise these animals and they shave the horns off of rhinos or whatever, and they shave the horns and create animal bone capsule from that, that's fantastic. That's awesome, because then the rhino stays alive. So that's what I hope happens, and I don't know exactly what happens, how they obtain all the animal bone natural testosterone capsules, which are called gelatin capsules, but the number needs to go up. The world needs to live on a regular basis off of natural testosterone animal bone capsules, because mankind needs natural testosterone in their body. Without natural testosterone, man cannot reproduce. It's that simple. So let's get the show on the road and start taking care of business. That's what I have to say. And as far as pregnant women go, and what I wrote about is if a pregnant woman takes like 2 natural testosterone animal bone capsules and takes those every 3 to 4 days, not only will the blood flow through her body more readily on every part of their body, but especially to their baby's womb. And their baby's womb will receive a little bit of this natural testosterone and sildenafil, and even a little bit of tadalafil that helps the baby's organs grow more readily and in a healthier fashion. Thus have a healthier heart, have a healthier blood flow, healthier heart, healthier organs. Who knows? Maybe birth defects won't happen so often as they do if this is incorporated and women take natural testosterone, time of these capsules more often and more regularly when they're pregnant. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think this is information that I'm giving you from God, because God put me on the path that I was on to sell sex capsules. There's no doubt in my mind. This is why I was so highly motivated at selling sex capsules, and my motivation remained until they shut me down because of what happened with my mother and sister. So it was all, you call it fate. I'm definitely telling you it was fate. That's why I was in this business. And I should be able to spread my knowledge more readily throughout the world and throughout America and to the federal government, and be put on the ladder of RFK for being the health director, which he is. He's in charge of health. Put me on the ladder. Put me on the ladder with RFK. We want to talk about men's health. We want to talk about women's health. Here it is, right here. Take sex capsules and female pills, and I can guarantee you society will live longer, be healthier. The babies will be stronger when they're born, and before they're born, they'll develop more readily. Their organs will develop in a stronger fashion, and they will receive the proper blood flow, so their heart will be strong and will remain strong throughout their lifetime, instead of having a weak heart when they are born, because they had lack of blood flow, like some babies had a better blood flow than in their mother's womb than other babies. So it's all about the blood flowing through the baby's body and throughout the mother's body into the baby in the mother's womb. This is a beautiful thing. This is all nature. Nature is logic. Trust me. There's a reason why I was in the sex capsule business. I don't compare myself to Jesus. I'm not even close to Jesus. I'm not that forgiving of a person in the first place. Well, Jesus taught us how to forgive. Well, I try to forgive, but I already know that nobody's going to change when you forgive them. You have to forgive them for yourself, because that's what Jesus Christ wants us to do. But Jesus was a wanderer. I've been a wanderer my entire lifetime also. I've learned by wandering. I've learned by walking and driving and walking on land that I've been able to walk on throughout America, and driving throughout America to be able to be on that land to walk upon, and to be back in Atlantic City, to live in New York City, to spend time in the South. This was all caused by me being a pool player. Originally, I was a pool player and I had to play right-handed, but I'm naturally left-handed. God had no intention when I became a pool player of me being the best pool player alive. It was impossible for that to happen, because I had to play with my right hand, because my dominant eye my left eye can't focus like my right eye can. When I was looking at the balls, when I was shooting the balls for precise shooting ability, and being able to play pool precisely, it was all depending on your eyesight and your form and your stroke and your stance and your bridge with your hand you put on the table. This is why I laugh when I see pool players or actors try to mimic playing pool on TV or on movies. It's laughable. And this is why I want to create a movie. And I know my own script name, my first script name of my movie. Just like I knew the name of my book 30 years ago, I've known the script name of my first movie that I'll produce for the last 20 years. You're going to have to wait for that to happen. And I can't spread my wisdom. I can't spread my knowledge if I'm locked up. So there you go. So I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to spread my wisdom throughout America and to the federal government, and be helpful, because I love the federal government. I love I love everything the government represents. I love everything about the government in the past and everything about the government in the near future. I love ICE. I love how they're going out and cleaning up the shelves that were created by our evil Joe Biden in the past, who allowed so many immigrants to walk across our borders like it was meaningless, like it meant nothing, and commit their crimes and cause traffic accidents that kills American people and murder and rape women and molest children. I'm hateful toward all of that. And like I said, I'm not a forgiving person. Get them the fuck out of here and let them walk through legally. I waited for 2 years, over 2 years, to get my wife over here. I've been married to my wife for 2.5 years now. And I'm still trying to get her over here to America. So my whore visa lawyer in the past, Russ Gubler, can kiss my ass. I have a new lawyer who's taking care of business. And he's charging me much less than Russ Gubler ever took from me originally, who couldn't get past the first stage. Matt Johnson, you're another whore. There's Mormon whores. There's not very many of them, but there's enough of them to where I know there's at least 4 that I can definitely state. There's 4 Mormon whores mimicking being a true believers in God and in the religion and fleecing the American public out of money in the process. Number 1 is Mitt Romney. Number 2 is Matt Johnson. Number 3 is Mike Sam. And number 4 is Russ Gubler, Matt Johnson's subordinate lawyer. They're all whores. They're all whores in the wind. And I told them this a long time ago. I told Matt Johnson and Mike Sam this a long time ago. I've never met Mitt Romney, but I don't care to meet him because I know he's full of shit. I know he's a lying sack of shit. He's a whore in the wind. But I've told Michael Sampt and I told Matt Johnson. I told them both. Mike Sampt Law and Matt Johnson and Johnson and Gubler. Matt Johnson and Johnson and Gubler. I told them both. Mike and Matt. Told them both. If you give me a hard time and you refuse to give me my money back after turning you into the bar and having the Zoom meeting and everything such as that, if you refuse to give me back my money, I can guarantee you, whether I get my money back in district court or not, it doesn't matter if I get my money back or not, I'm going to smear you and I'm going to remind the American public exactly what you did to me, and I'm going to tell the stone cold truth. This is what my podcast is stone cold truth. I don't lie about anything. I have no fear. I don't care about what you think. I care about my viewers, but I don't care if you hate me for my opinions. I don't care. It does not matter to me because my opinions will not change. I was born a Republican. I will die a Republican. And I can tell you this right now. Okay, I'm 70 years old. I'm going the hard way. I'm going the right way. I'm going out with a bang. And I hopefully can write a second book, but I'll never waste my time or energy writing a second book unless I sell my first book. The American public and anybody else in the world can kiss my ass because I don't work for free. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm Moses. I'm a hot-tempered individual that doesn't like to take shit from others. Because anybody who wants to give me their bullshit, like the MGM or any other casino, that wants to 86 me out for a minimal reason, for a menial reason, and not treat me fairly like they treat other poker players where they give them the night, but they give me life, they can kiss my ass, and I can guarantee I'm going to expose them for it. Because this is my town. Vegas is my town. I will die in this town. And I love the state of Nevada. And I love the state of Utah, which is right next door to Nevada. So I was born and raised in God's country. And I can't think of a better place to be. So my podcast is straight out of this town, so there's nothing they can keep me from doing in this town. They can maybe make it hard for me to go in and play live poker, but I can go to California and play in better poker games in California anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I can travel throughout America and play poker. So I'm the Roadrunner. I can go northeast, west, or south. Maybe not now, maybe not momentarily, but very soon I hope to be able to travel northeast, west, or south. And I definitely want to go back to D.C. and change this law because the law does need to be changed, and the politicians need to get off their ass and stop taking donations. The Republicans are just as greedy as the Democrats. They need to clean their act up and stop taking donations from Big Pharma. 98% have taken donations from Big Pharma. No way. I'm not allowing that to happen in the future. I'm going to expose them for who they are. I've called some of the greedy politicians out that are Republicans, but I can guarantee you every Democratic politician is greedy and doesn't give a damn about the American people. They only care about power and their Democratic Party. And the media can definitely kiss my ass also, because they're full of shit. They never want to tell the truth about what's going on regarding Trump and what a great president he really is, and how much he's accomplished for America in his first year, which is astounding, totally astounding what he's done and accomplished so far in his second term. And they want to change the laws, and they want to change the rules. I'd like to really ruffle their feathers and watch Trump run for a third term. They want to change the Supreme Court. They want to add more members to the Supreme Court, so they want to basically change our Constitution. So let's ruffle their feathers and put Trump in for a third election and let him win, even though he's won 3 elections already. Let's put him in for a third term so he can win 4 elections. I've got nothing against J.D. Vance or DeSantis, which I would hope to be our next president if it wasn't Trump. I would hope it'd be either one of those. And I'd be glad to speak at any one of their rallies. But I'd ask a security guard to be put up on a rooftop or whatever where I was speaking. And I'd want security to be at its highest form if I was ever speaking to a crowd. Because I know it only takes one nutcase. They never mentioned on the news about Charlie Kirk when he got shot and the shooter was on the rooftop. They should have known about watching that roof right off the bat, but there was nobody really street smart around Charlie Kirk that incorporated that to happen, that mentioned that happening, that said, hey, let's put a security guard up there so we don't have a shooter on the roof. Not one person thought of it. Not one person. He had a lot of sharp people around him, but they're not as sharp as me when it comes to just a simple, basic thought like that. Because that's nature. That's nature taking its course in a different form. Put a security guard up on the roof, just like a security guard should have been put on the roof when Donald Trump was shot. And he's lucky to be alive. And God bless him for it. I'm so sad that Charlie Kirk was shot by an absolute piece of shit nutcase. A scumbag. Also, this shooter that killed the insurance agent. What's the shooter's name that killed the insurance agent, Ivan, in New York City? He walked up behind him and shot him in the back, and now he's trying to get off because they searched him, illegal search, so he's trying to get off from his murder. Fuck him. That insurance agent had children. He had a life. The CEO of an insurance company that got shot in the back by a chicken shit Democratic activist shooter who was an absolute nutcase. This is like, and then the media rolls with it, and then people roll with it, and they say, oh, he needs to be put up on a pedestal for what he did. Oh, he's great. Fantastic. Yeah. This is how sick these people are. Don't waste your time watching my podcast. Go play with yourself. Do whatever you get your jollies off doing. Go stand on top of a building and ask yourself if you should jump off, because you might change your mind and jump off. So go ahead and do it. Go ahead. I could care less. You're wasted human energy that are breathing God's air. So kiss my ass. That's all I have to say with that. I'm not going to push them off the building. I'm just going to let them have the opportunity to making a bad decision, just like they make on a daily basis in their lives. And these people out there freezing to death. They're freezing their asses off in Minnesota and Minneapolis, and they're thank you, Ivan. And they're like they're protesting against ICE and blowing everything out of proportion and trying to make ICE look like they're evil. Well, the reason they wear masks is because they don't want the people following them home and knowing who they are and causing any harm to their families. So God bless ICE. Keep wearing your mask. The Democrats tried to tell us all to wear masks during COVID, and they were all full of shit then, and they're all full of shit now. And all the people that came in and robbed stores, that came in groups and robbed stores and robbed the stores out of a certain amount in blue cities where they couldn't go to jail because it was under like $1,000. They robbed the store for under $900 in value they took. So it's not it's just a misdemeanor, not a felony. So kiss my ass for that bullshit. And Luigi Mangione, is that how I pronounce his name? Luigi Mangione? Mangione. Luigi Mangione, you're a piece of shit. You're the devil's disciple. Rot. In Russia, they'd put him in front of a firing squad. They wouldn't waste the time feeding him. So you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of human garbage. Stop wasting my time. Okay? That's all I have to say to that. We gotta say things on this podcast that are true. That I can't play the safe side of the street and say, okay, I wish you believe this. I could care less whether you believe this or not. I'm just giving you my opinion. This is what my podcast is about. But as far as the federal government goes, they need to get off their ass and clean up the D.C. swamp. And the politicians need to vote out sildenafil and tadalafil being required by prescription. And the government needs to get off their ass and educate the American public. And if that means me going back to D.C. and being a part of RFK's stepladder and being on a stepladder and being involved with him in the health and drug administration or whatever he's leading on that Trump appointed him to, well, put me to a side. And I love RFK, and let me educate him and the federal government even more about sex capsules and how important they are. Let's save those 600 women and the baby in their womb, which 600 women died from some form of heart disease while pregnant in 2022, and the same figure, 600 women died in 2024. Consistent stat. They died. Not just 600. That means their baby died in their womb. Maybe they had twins. They had twins in their body, so there's another baby that died. Please, give me the opportunity to educate the federal government about sex capsules. And you'll have the opportunity about reading my educative explanations, the way I explain myself in my book. I can educate you in my book in so many ways. I can save you money in gambling, so you'll never chase your money in a casino. I can teach you how to not gamble and not bet sports, which the MGM would hate, because how are they going to get out of debt if they don't initiate the American public betting more and more money on sports? This is what they've incorporated. This is what Hornbuckle, William Hornbuckle, the president and CEO of MGM Incorporated, and he received a huge bonus last year because he's making money for the stockholders. He's bringing the MGM out of debt because he's using the American public's jugular. He's going after the American public to do it, to bring his company out of debt. He could give a shit about America. Another piece of shit CEO does that for himself. So he can definitely kiss my ass. But I wouldn't even be talking about Hornbuckle if his piece of shit subordinate, Ryan Kirk, hadn't 86'd me from the poker room while his cage member harassed me when I was cashing out. I wouldn't even be bringing it up if Ryan Kirk wasn't on his ego trip and I wasn't suffering from David Weber syndrome, such as other poker rooms in Las Vegas suffer from also, because naturally when I do anything wrong, and if I step the wrong way or forget to tie my shoes properly or whatever it may be, if I don't come in there and kiss their ass royally, they're going to find some excuse to throw me out because they already know they're dealing with the most outspoken person in their card room. Every card room knows that. It doesn't matter about any card room in Vegas. Every card room in America knows that I've walked into. They all know. Because I don't hide my outspokenness. When I walk into a room, I'm like a magnet. Guaranteed, I'm like a magnet when I walk into a room. And I enjoy that because I'm magnetic. I I came from my mother was very strong. My father was a strong man also, but my mother was extremely strong. And she was the smartest person in my family, and she was also left-handed. So I follow my mother's footsteps. And God bless her. She was a fighter. She fought till her last breath when she died of breast cancer. Take your car to Zach Hall's Urban Auto Works on 1010 North Stephanie Street, Suite 1A. I can guarantee it'll be the best mechanical work that will ever be done on your car. It's a personalized job for them. It's not a game of numbers. They're conscientious on anything they do. And that includes oil changes, fluid flushes, alignments, brakes. Any kind of diagnostic work that needs to be done, they specialize in, and they do all types of engine work, top of the line. Take your car to Zach Hall's Urban Auto Works on 1010 North Stephanie Street, Suite 1A in Henderson, Nevada, straight out of Vegas. Anywhere in Las Vegas you live, take your car there. You can't go wrong. You can't miss.
To purchase my book, go to www.theroadrunnerpodcast.com, and I'll throw in that free hat with any book purchase. My title, The Roadrunner in the Yellow Zone, is the greatest title ever created. Without the sun and the moon feeding off each other, there is no life on Earth.
So anyway, like what I'm saying is like this all boils down to being righteous to yourself and being righteous to others. So I look forward to the opportunity to going back to D.C. and eliminating this law and putting the politicians in their place. And not just the Republicans who are greedy, but also the Democrats, which are all greedy. They're all a group of greedy politicians representing their party and not the American people. And this Gavin Newsom, which I call Uncle Newly in my book, what a piece of shit. What a piece of garbage, following Trump all the way over to Davos, Switzerland, and trying to stab him in the back and run him down for who he is, and bringing his fake knee pads, like Trump's getting on his knees for something. Well, let me tell you, Trump is the last person to get on his knees for anything. Gavin Newsom couldn't even tie Trump's shoes if it comes to being a man. Gavin Newsom is the person on his knees because he's the follower. He's never the leader. If he was a leader, he would have put water in his dams and fought the forest fires so they could fight the forest fires. You can't fight fires without water. So he just blew all the water out into the ocean and took away what God gave him in the first place and just threw it all back in the ocean. And the reservoirs were empty. So how could the reservoirs add water to the fire hydrants in Palisades or anywhere else throughout L.A. where they had constant fires? And they always have and they always will. But if he's so smart, how could he not take care of that? How could he lack the logic to take care of something so essential? Because Gavin Newsom is a misfit. He's the nephew of Nancy Pelosi indirectly. And the bitch from San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi, is a robber baron. I mean, she robbed the stock market, had her husband rob the stock market out of millions upon millions of dollars, like $200 million, to enrich themselves because they got the insider information. And then she turned around and said, oh, politicians can no longer do that after she retired. So she's a piece of shit, you know. And, I mean, look, sure, she has huge breasts, but, you know, imagine, I mean, they would sag below her belly button if she ever took her top off. So that's not my kind of woman. My wife has beautiful breasts, and they're not going to sag. They don't sag now, and they won't sag in the future. They were just nice and tight, given to her by God. She was blessed with beautiful breasts. And I'm lucky to know her because, like I said, if I hadn't been courageous in the first place and gone to Bangkok, Thailand with my book, we never would have met. And my wife is pure of heart. She's the purest human being that I've ever met in my life. She is so heartful and such a beautiful person inside. She prays for me constantly in church. She goes to church and prays for me because she's worried about my court case and she's worried about this and that. She worries about me more than I worry about myself. Because as long as you're fighting, which is the way I do things, how I take care of my worries, is I just fight. I'm a fighter. I'm going to go down a fighter. So I'm going to fight for what I believe in, and I worry less than normal people. I'm straight from the street. That's how I learn how to act and how to be. That's just I don't worry about like consequences for who I am, for what I do, and for what I believe in. As long as I do the right thing and I'm on God's path, that's all that matters. That's all that matters to me. Jesus Christ was sold out by Judah for like approximately like $30 US, current $30 US that are worth like the same value of silver that he was given to by the Jewish priests. He was given like $30 in silver to sell out Jesus and say where he'd be, so the security of the Jewish priests could apprehend him and then hold him for the Romans to pick up and grab and then put on the cross and crucify him. He was sold out for the equivalency of $30 US. That's how much silver Judah received 30, the equivalence of $30 US in silver form. And what did he do? Later on, he killed himself. He hung himself on a tree because he couldn't take the guilt because God tormented him so badly. He couldn't take it. His brain was like probably going to explode, which is what happens to a lot of people when they're in the evil presence and they've done something really bad. They before they commit the act, they think they can overcome it. Then they've committed the act and they can't live with themselves and they kill themselves, whatever it may be. But that's what Judah did. He hung himself on a tree. So he didn't even get the chance to spend the money that he received from the phony Jewish priests. And do you think Jesus cared when he tore open the cages of the doves, when the doves flew out and he yelled at them and threw tantrums and threw the cages at the Jewish priests and threw a tantrum and threw a fit? Jesus had a bad temper. Well, I guess they treated him like they treat me. You know, they put him on the cross because he had another act that brought him heat, and that was it. That was it for Jesus because he was too outspoken. They couldn't handle his outspokenness, and that's what weak people do. They join together, and then they figure out an excuse to bring that person down. And that's what people do in poker rooms, that work in poker rooms in Vegas. They bring people down for what they do and for what they believe in. They can't handle outspokenness. It's not your room as a player. It's their room because they feel like it's their room. They run the room. They're the ones who tell you what to do. If you don't like it, then don't walk in, right? Well, if you didn't walk in the first place, they wouldn't have their job. So without you, they're nothing. They're meaningless. And that's why Ryan Kirk is meaningless. Sure, he got me out of the room and kicked me out of the room and said, hey, you're out of here indefinitely. But I wonder what Hornbuckle is going to do, Mr. William Hornbuckle will do when he finds out and he knows what I'm saying on my live podcast and how I've exposed the MGM. Because the MGM needs to be exposed because they don't represent the American people. I do. This is my town. This is not their town. This is my town. And why I was treated so unfairly and why I was harassed by the cage members because they think they can get away with it. They think that they can push me around like any normal person. I'm not a normal person. I'm a fighter. I'm a pit bull. I'm like Donald Trump. I'm going out with a bang. Donald Trump was not afraid of being murdered. Donald Trump was not afraid of being assassinated when he gets up and speaks. He still gets up and speaks to this day. Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, has no fear of death because he believes in what he's doing, 100% in what he's doing. And he's the greatest leader of this planet, alive to this day. And all these people coming up and shaking his hand and acting like they're so supportive of him, I can guarantee you a lot of them are going to stab him in the back because they're weak-minded people. The only strong-minded person in politics is Donald Trump and the people around him that work underneath him, where his strong character rubs off onto them and makes them stronger themselves. And I believe this has happened to J.D. Vance, and I believe this has happened to DeSantis. I believe that they both deeply respect Trump, and they're both worthy of being president of the United States in the future. So there you go. I love J.D. Vance, and I love DeSantis. So I'll speak at any one of your rallies. And just give me a little book barn where I can sell my book at the rally also. So I can sell more copies of my book because it's overpriced. I understand that, but it's the best book ever written. It's a better quality book than any book out of Barnes & Noble that's ever been sold. It's in English and Spanish. And I'm the only person that had a slang dictionary included in my book, and you're going to love my slang dictionary because it tells, I nicknamed all the Democrats. I nicknamed Chuck Schumer Pinocchio. I nicknamed Al Sharpton, Famous Al. I nicknamed Ocasio-Cortez, O-C what? Huh? AOC. I nicknamed AOC, Ocasio-Cortez. I nicknamed her the greatest name of all, the bitch from hell, because she is the bitch from hell. I nicknamed Congresswoman Omar, the bitch from Somalia, and right now the bitch from Somalia is being investigated, and sure enough, she's guilty. Because I worked in the sex capsule business for like 16 years, living in weeklies for 5 years, for 5.5 years living in weeklies, along with my dog Coco. Never had a backyard to enjoy, and she was my trooper for that. But I'm living in weeklies, slowly growing my business. Slowly, my business has become stronger, is becoming stronger and stronger. And my total intention is I already knew how well the sex capsules work because I took 2 a week. But knowing about the G pill from Europe and being able to make that more popular, that was my number one intention. Because I didn't have the opportunity to sell sex capsules when my mother had breast cancer when I was 27 years old. I needed to wander more and learn more about how tough it was to be a gambler. And that took me years and years until the age of 52 when I got in the sex capsule business. So this was a long process. It didn't happen overnight. I was able to travel and wander much more of my land than Jesus Christ was able to wander. But Jesus Christ was not put on this planet for a long period of time on purpose, because he was put on this planet for one important reason: to forgive us so we could forgive ourselves and forgive others. That's why Jesus Christ died on the cross. And as long as you believe in Jesus Christ and he died for our sins, and that you believe in God, this is the most important thing. If you happen to go to church and believe that belief, that's a great thing also. But if you happen to be a whore in the wind, like my lawyers, and you use the church, whatever religion it may be, and you use that religion to benefit from society and become more wealthy, and actually steal more money along the way, such as my whore lawyers or Mitt Romney, then I don't like your chances with God later on, if you ever do have a chance to meet him. And if I say him, okay, well, I'll call God him. But to me, God is like a great form of energy, and a strong form of energy. And I don't even know if he has a voice, so I don't even know if he can talk out loud. Maybe his energy and his strong energy can make noise when he's around us, so who knows? Who knows what happens when we die? But I do know that spirits will take us out of our body, whether good or bad, when we die, because I believe in the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. And the dumbest person on The View is, I think it's equal. I think it's the beautiful black woman, and I think it's Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is not the beautiful black woman. It's the other black woman that's a beautiful woman that's really stupid, along with Whoopi Goldberg. They're both stupid. But I don't remember the beautiful black woman having the part in the greatest, one of the greatest movies ever produced, that has such a strong message as the movie Ghost, which Whoopi Goldberg had. Just an absolute dunce in society that will never learn, that will never know. Just like this stupid bitch from Ireland, the one that wanted to go over to Ireland and escape to Ireland, and she constantly trying to give her thoughts to everybody in the world and everybody in America, like she never left. Well, stay in Ireland, please. What is her name? Rosie O'Donnell. another ugly dyke that believes in hate speech. That's what she is. She's a hater. Well, I have no problem hating you, Rosie. I have no problem whatsoever because you go out of your way so much to envelop how stupid you really are. And God bless you anyway. I mean, maybe like you haven't taken your last breath, and maybe you can change. That's what life is all about, being able to change, right? Well, that's why I forgave my youngest son. Maybe he'll change later on, but I doubt it. And I look forward to going watching see my grandson swim tomorrow. And I told my son to have him get a haircut because his hair is too long. My grandson's hair is too long. It looks like a little girl. He's a great-looking kid. He doesn't need the long hair. Cut that hair, I told my son. If he doesn't cut the hair, then I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to have to school him a little bit during lunch because it's his wife's decision and his decision. It's not the son's decision. A 3-year-old boy should not be telling their parents what he's going to do. It's their decision whether they cut his hair or not. And if I go there and eat lunch with my grandson and I see him with long hair, I'm going to have to school him a little bit on that and remind them that they're both weak-minded, that it's both their decisions. And they're going to never let me take him alone because that's the first thing I would do is get him a haircut. So they never let me be alone with my grandson just for that reason. But eventually they'll get the haircut, and I'll be taking them to Raiders games next year. God bless my grandson, Kai. And God bless my granddaughters, Natalie and Sarah. God bless them both. And God bless Marissa and Natalie. Marissa and Natalie are sisters. Marissa is the older of the two. And then there's my older granddaughter, Sarah, that gave me a great-grandson. God bless you. And I'm going to have to remind my son to call her on the phone tomorrow when I have lunch because I'd like to talk to her for the very first time. She had my grandson, great-grandson, 2 years ago, and I haven't talked to her. So I need to man up and have a conversation with her. But there you go. This podcast is a beautiful thing, and I love talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Roadrunner straight out of Vegas. And let me remind you before I go, if you get bored in life, get a dog. Go adopt a dog, whether it be a Heinz 57 or a purebred from an animal shelter, because they're dying to meet you. They're dying to see you. Hannity had somebody on his show last night that has killed 67% of all dogs in her animal shelter. She killed. She had gas. She had gave them the shot to where they died almost instantly, because she said they were suffering from being on hard pavement and not enjoying life. Well, here you go. Here's your opportunity. Step forward and go adopt a dog. Make it happen. They need you. They look forward to meeting you. They look forward to being your best friend in life, and they will be your best friend in life, even though they're never able to talk back at you or talk to you or have a conversation with you. They'll conversate in their own way, in God's way, in the way God created them. God bless America. Take care. Until next time. Roadrunner, straight out of Vegas.